Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again with another little build that I've been playing through the Endless Delve encounter, league, event, whatever. And in this case, it is my attempt at hardcore on a Deadeye. So going more on softcore really doesn't make much more sense. I hit level like 91 on Slayer. Playing casually enough as I pretty much do, and there's no way to compete on the softcore side of things with that type of play, because you just straight up need to play like 10 hours a day every day and just keep grinding, and no, just not going to happen. So I decided to jump over onto hardcore, a bit of extra challenge and the potential to actually push a few ranks a bit more casually. In some more niche ascendancies and just hope other people die while I don't die, which won't happen, but hey, who knows, things might line up. So this is a Deadeye. I basically had a choice between Trickster, Assassin, or Deadeye for the fairly underplayed ascendancies, or the ascendancies that are typically going to be dying at some point, and thus the latter is kind of up for grabs a bit more. So I decided to make a Deadeye because I did want to play around with some cast on crit action, and I definitely wanted to squeeze some Ice Spear or some Eye of Winter in there. And I started leveling with just Spectral Throw at level 12, started using Spectral Helix, and then at level 38, or at level 28, sorry, I started using Eye of Winter, and then at level 38 I started experimenting with cast on crits, Spectral Helix, cast on crits, Ice Spears, Eye of Winters, all that sort of shit, and I've landed on Ice Spear, Eye of Winter, and Spectral Throw as the cast on crit trigger, and it's been pretty fun. It's not particularly effective because in Delve there's a lot of cold resistant mobs, and they've got high amounts of cold resist over any other resist, but it's been decent enough. On a 4-link, I had a 4-link up until about level 84, I think, up until about level 75 monster level, that sort of thing. Finally got a 5-link, and that is a big difference because all of a sudden I could slot cold penetration into my setup, and that did make things quite a bit smoother. But in general, I had to build, quite a bit thicker since it's a hardcore league, and by thicker I mean just various defenses as opposed to like high amounts of life, because my recovery doesn't really exist, given that I can't have full access to all kinds of different things like spell life gain on hit. So I've just basically built a bit more preventative, and that's largely based around the shield you get at level 1. So in the end my character has like 63 block, I think, 60 spell block, and then a bunch of evasion, as well as that, Arctic armor, so we're immune to freeze, immune to shock as well with Tempest Shield, and it's been decent enough. I rarely take hits. When I do, maybe they're kind of big, but that's about all I can do with the crappy gear I've got, and the slow, painful descent into Delve with no real gear scaling, damage scaling. So we're doing our best, but I do think there's quite some potential in a build like this on softcore, on Trade League, that sort of thing, to do Eye Winter, to do Ice Spear, to do some Spectral Throw, or maybe just turn it into a bow cast on crit. Shit's pretty fun. Deadeye's got some good things for the Ascendancy, but you could also do other Ascendancies if you start using a Snake Pit. So all in all, I don't know, I kind of like the idea, and I'll probably flesh out this concept on softcore a bit more as well at some point, but for now, this is just what this little attempt on hardcore looks like, and it's been good, and I'll just quickly show you how I've built the character. So here is my character, level 86 Deadeye, putting the dead in Deadeye, something like, I don't know, 30th on the Deadeye ladder at the moment, on the HC ladder. Plenty of dead dudes ahead of me, and I will be joining them shortly, I'm pretty sure. At this point, I'm, getting to like monster level 80, that sort of thing, and, the monsters are getting kind of thicker, and then, if they live longer, they hit me pretty hard, but we'll see how things go. So like I said, building around the Eye of Winter, Spectral Throw, cast on crit, ice spear interaction. You can go purely one way or the other as well if you want. The idea behind having like the two spells is one sort of does a bit better for single target, one sort of does a bit better for clear. You could go pure Eye of Winter, for example, though it does have a good middle ground of single target and clear if you're also just incorporating Hydrosphere. But I like having both, and I do swap between both setups, just pure and having double. But yeah, up to you what you want to do with it, really. I've been using both for quite a long time, and then sometimes I just use Eye of Winter by itself, but it does rely on Hydrosphere for its single target, as it needs a Hydrosphere next to the enemy to like chain off of when it's got chains and the final projectile count, blah blah blah. So once again, we're based around our starting weapons. So starting weapon has a lot of crit, so that takes care of your crit chance pretty much for the Spectral throw. It's got a bunch of crit multi as well, and then since the shield is pretty good, you can corrupt a few of them. You get 32 base block and a 30 base spell block. You get endurance charges a decent amount of the time as well, and because of this shield, basically I decided to build into block on this character, and my stats at the moment are as follows: 63 block, 61 spell block. Resists are capped based off of a flask at the moment because it is kind of tough to cap resists. I was running Purity of Elements for most of this character's existence, but that shouldn't be necessary since we are also running Arctic Armor and Tempest Shield. I am, thanks to Arctic Armor, immune to freeze, and thanks to Tempest Shield, immune to shock. So we don't really need Purity of Elements. It was mostly there to help out with the resists. Once those are fixed, then we can get a bit thicker. So I grabbed Grace, and it's got a decent amount of evasion with a Jade Flask as well. Gets a bit higher, but we do what we can on the HC setup with no bench and just pure SSF shit. So the rest of the gears, whatever, life, resists, try and get a bit of accuracy so you can actually proc your cast on crit. Yeah, that's all there is to say about that. The passive tree itself, though, we've taken Charisma Wheel over here and the reserve so we can fit in a bunch of auras. That's why I've got Precision at a level, I don't know, 10 or something, level 8. Great. Tempest Shield, Arctic Armor, and Herald of Ice. So we've taken that over there to help fix that. Otherwise, just life, crit. Cold Node over here with the exposure. Our exposure comes from Hydrosphere. Taking the crit, a bit of ES and life, the crit multi, second curse. I only just picked that up right now, and the way I do that is Hydrosphere attached to Hex Touch, faster casting, and Frostbite. So I do pretty routinely use Hydrospheres during packs, before packs. That'll put up Frostbite, and then I manually curse Assassin's Mark at the moment since I don't have an Assassin Mark ring. And you take Eldritch Battery, and while you've got a decent bit of ES, so 400 to 500 is a good amount to at least start with. That's what lets you just cast your spells without mana, and it should be enough to sustain basically through the regen, through the little bit of spell leech over here, though you could take the mastery here as well, and then the energy shield on kill here carries that energy shield as well. So once, like, I was using mana flasks up until level 60, something like that. Once you can get Eldritch Battery, you can then kind of not worry about mana anymore, but you can also reserve your mana with some discipline to help with energy shield as well. Otherwise, the passive tree just goes down, grabs the cold nodes over here for frenzies, get a bit of crit multi and crit. We get projectile, damage, and speed, and then grab the knockback. It's actually been pretty powerful. Once you got a high enough crit chance, then the knockback does become pretty relevant for your defenses. It keeps things pretty much away from you at all times. And then I've taken, just very recently, experimenting with the crit nodes over here and some blind. Helps out some accuracy as well. And then I went over here for the block nodes just to get a bit thicker. Grab the spell damage per block. I did initially have the life and mana gain on block. That was helping out with my mana sustain too. And then the block over here, and then grabbed 1% block per 5 block on shield. Or you could take the avoid ailments, and with this, and with this over here, you could become almost completely ailment immune. With some on gear as well, then you definitely could. So it's pretty versatile sort of little character. You could build a bit more life, a bit more block, a bit more evasion, a bit more crit, whatever it is you want. But for now, this is my current setup. Running Diamond Flask, Jade Flask, Silver Flask, using these skills. Like I said, Spectral Throw, then I went into Spectral Helix, then Eye of Winter. You can go pure Eye of Winter, and if you're doing this, you just put a Crit Strike gem over here. Otherwise, pretty up to interpretation. Hopefully we might see a more softcore standard fun version as well, but we'll see how much longer I live on HC Delve for this. Having fun with it, but I do feel like death is coming for me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.